So in some ways, I'm a little bit bored of the Canadian Rockies, which is a terrible thing to say because we have locations like this, 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 and this. But the thing is, I've been to those locations a lot, so it is time to find somewhere new. And I've been doing a little bit of research online, and I think I might have found somewhere. Where I want to go is just here. This pond here, just past Canmore. So let's get going. Well, actually, I'm not going to go now because it's like 10 a.m. I'll probably go tomorrow morning. Look at that. The fuel prices are getting a little bit outrageous here in Alberta. However, if you're from the UK or something, you're probably thinking that that's not too bad. It's actually about £1 a litre, but for here that is quite a lot. I've not seen prices like that for a long time. And it's making these solo photography missions definitely financially a little bit harder to justify, but I think we've got to do it this morning. Right, I've made it to Canmore, but the lake I'm trying to get to today actually sits at 1,650 metres. That's 200 or 300 metres higher than the town of Canmore itself. So obviously we've got an increase of elevation gain there. And it's been a little while actually, probably a couple of months since I was last in the mountains, and I'm not entirely sure what the conditions are like at the moment. So going that high up in elevation might cause a couple of problems, right? One, the road that runs up to this lake runs in between the east end of Rundle and Harling Peak. It's a kind of bumpy gravel road that runs up in between the mountains and obviously increases the elevation gain. And when that road is covered in snow, it's actually pretty hard to drive up, especially in my little two-wheel drive car. I got a bit stuck there one time trying to get back out in the snow, so we need to see how much snow is going to be on that road. I'm hoping not very much at all. And also when we get to the lake itself, there is a risk that it's frozen over. There might not be any openings, we might not get any good reflections, but there is really only one way to find out, and that's to drive there. So far so good, no snow on the road. And I've just passed Whiteman's Pond actually, which is the pond just below Harling Peak. And there's very little snow on there, so I think there could be some open water at the lake down the road here. But unfortunately, it is rippling quite a lot as well, so I don't know how that is going to turn out. Hopefully it's a bit stiller when we get around there. But randomly, I'm on a road in the middle of nowhere pretty much. There's no one here, and I've come across a traffic light. So I suppose we are going to wait here and see if that ever goes green. So Goat Pond, which is the pond I'm actually aiming for today, is just over there, just a couple minutes down the road. But as I was driving by here, I've just seen this little reflection because the sky's getting nice and pink just over there. As per usual, I'm running a little bit late, but look at that colour. And I think there's going to be a good reflection here. So I figured I'd just jump out the car quickly and maybe try and grab this shot on my way. Bit of a risk. Like, let me know, how do you think all these other photographers on YouTube do it, right? People like Thomas Heaton, James Popsis, all those kind of big names. They never seem to be walking around in the dark very much. But I feel like every time I come out to shoot here in the Rockies, I have to drive for hours in the dark, hike in the dark, and it's really difficult to film when there's no light, but I don't know how you have enough time if you don't do it. The Rockies is really a sunrise place. Most of these places are better at sunrise. So I kind of have to film in the dark, and it doesn't always work. How do they do it? Maybe not the most interesting composition, but some really nice colour in the sky, so I just had to stop. But let's head over to the main event, Goat Pond, and see if we can find any compositions over there. I mean, today is also a bit of a scouting mission, right, just to find some new locations to shoot, and I think this could be a location that I can visit multiple times throughout different seasons and get different shots, so hopefully it will be another spot to add to the repertoire. So even if we don't walk away with anything fantastic today, we will walk away with a new spot which isn't too far away to be able to easily come and shoot, especially in those spring and fall months where I can just drive straight up to the lake and hopefully get some pretty nice shots. You can see the light is just catching those peaks over there. So I just about made it in time for sunrise to catch a little bit of light on those peaks. Probably could have done with being here a little bit earlier as per usual. And where I am right now, this isn't the main part of Goat Pond, I wouldn't say. It looks like there's kind of a bit of a runoff into almost like a man-made drainage ditch here behind me. But the reflection right here is actually really nice. So I am going to stop here and take a quick snap. It looks like further on into the lake or into the pond, it might be a bit more frozen over, which isn't ideal. It's pretty nice right here. Again, you know, this is kind of a bit of a scouting mission for future photography, I suppose. So this is a really nice spot. There's a lot of opportunity here, I think. There's a bit of rock and stuff in the foreground here, nothing super interesting, but I think we can still get a pretty nice shot to start off the day just with that reflection. Yeah, we'll see what we can get. Maybe I'll set up a little bit lower in the hopes that we can get some of this rocks in the foreground in as well. So you can probably tell that there's actually a really nice reflection here to the right of me as well. That's not the direction I'm going to shoot in straight away. I'm going to shoot towards what I believe is Goat Mountain? It must be Goat Mountain. Yeah, Goat Pond and Goat Mountain. So that's the direction I'm going to shoot at first. And what I'm going to do is switch to a wide angle lens here, I think. I don't think I want to shoot any tighter than 24, but the 16 to 24mm focal length might give me a bit more scope to get some of this foreground in. So we will switch these lenses over. So this mountain in front of me here, this is Goat Mountain. And I'm doing my best to ignore this sort of perfect reflection on my right-hand side here, because it's that mountain there. That's the one that I want to scout out, that I want to shoot at from different locations from this lake today for future reference as well. But this is also a great option, isn't it? If we come back here as well, we can definitely shoot this just depending on where the clouds are and where the light hits. But I'll show you the composition that I have set up for Goat Mountain in front of me. I'm shooting relatively wide, 24mm. That looks pretty good to me. I'm doing that so that I can include a lot of these rocks in the foreground here for some foreground interest, and then the mountain in the background, and also these clouds sort of creeping in on the side here as well. And one thing I don't necessarily love about this time of year is you often get snow on top of the mountains here, but you get this big, thick, black band of trees. And obviously there's no fresh snow on those trees right now, so it does just end up being quite a bare section of the image, right? It's not ideal, to be honest. It almost works better in summer entirely, or after some fresh snow where those trees then have snow on top of them and it's not so thick and black. It's always a bit of a dead spot in an image, and it's really hard to get around at this time of year, but we'll shoot it anyway and see how that turns out. I mean, realistically, I couldn't walk away without getting a shot of this reflection as well. And I think this could be a really nice image with a bit more cloud in the sky. It's a shame this morning that there isn't really any at all. We had some over to the back here on the way up, but over these mountains there's not really been any. But I think at another time with some really good cloud, this could be really good. But I am going to shoot the reflection today as well. The lake here has started to ripple a bit, so I'm going to pop on a neutral density filter to drag out that shutter speed in the hopes that I can kind of smooth that out a little bit as well. And what I find works well with reflections like this is, rather than shooting just pure reflection, it is nice to have some foreground elements, even if you kind of anchor the image with, say, just a rock that's just poking out of the water. We've got some nice driftwood here on the side as well, and as well as some other rocks. And I think just adding that little bit of extra detail, so it isn't just reflection top and bottom, really helps with an image, I think. So that's what I'm going to aim to do right now. I've got a couple of different options here. I'll sort of frame this up so we get a little bit more foreground interest rather than just the reflection. Now I'll quickly show you the composition that I've come up with for this second reflection. Because there are no clouds in the sky, I've sort of composed it to cut off a lot of the sky and just keep the reflection in the foreground in. But I'll show you what I mean. Like I was talking about before, I have used these rocks in the foreground here, put them right in the left-hand corner, so they sort of get stretched by the wide angle and they follow in from the corner towards the reflection. And then as you can see, the reflection's really in the top third or the top half of the image and cutting off the sky almost entirely because there is nothing going on there at all. These are the rocks that I'm using just there. So they're not particularly big, but when stretched out by the corner of the wide angle, they do look larger in the foreground. I do also have this really nice driftwood here. You can see on the shorefront. Now, I don't know, what do people feel about that? Driftwood right here, right on the edge. A lot of photographers would probably pop that in the water to get a bit of interesting foreground, but I don't know, is it cheating? Is it cheating to move stuff like that? I don't know, I don't think I need it for this shot because the rocks work pretty well, but it is tempting. But I mean, what do you think? Is that allowed? Moving foregrounds, creating your own foregrounds? Don't know, not sure. Right, let's move on. Let's move on round to the proper part of the pond and explore around there a little bit. I have driven down this road before. This is the road you drive down to get to Spray Lakes further down the road, but I've never stopped off at this pond before. But it's turning out to be a great little location actually. I think there's a lot of potential here. And I know further on down, there is a lot of sort of stumps in the water, tree stumps that have, I don't know, they must have been cut down at some point, it's been flooded, but they often sit in and around the shoreline, right? So I think I need to pop on down there and just check it out anyway, just to see if there are some good opportunities for the future. Can't come all this way and not have a look there, but this is cool. I'm enjoying this, right? I've never stopped here. I've lived in the Rockies or close to the Rockies for the best part of 10 years and I've never come to this actual location. And you know the best part about this as well? There is nobody else here. It's very, very rare to get that in the Canadian Rockies, especially a lot of the famous easy access spots. And this is as easy to access as Two Jack or Vermilion Lakes. It's just a little bit further out of town, down not the best road. But yeah, haven't seen a single soul this morning. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. So you might be able to see just behind me here, there are an absolute ton of old logs and stumps just sticking out of the snow. So obviously right now it's frozen over, but I think that means there's a lot of potential here for really nice compositions with some interesting foregrounds. Some of the stumps here are right up against the shoreline and some of them are a little bit further into the lake, but there's some really cool knotted wood and sort of gnarly roots that would make really nice foregrounds. I think there's some good potential. So I'm definitely going to be coming back. I think this could be a great spot during summer, maybe even come back with a set of waders and kind of get into the lake a little bit and get close to some of those stumps. That could be super cool. So I think the start of winter, midsummer, fantastic location. Super stoked to come and check this out. It has been a little while since I found like a new easy access spot in the Rockies to come and shoot. So I'm pretty excited to shoot this one. And I think what I'll do once I've explored this a little bit further, maybe come back again, I'll add this to my photography location guide, my Canmore one. We are a little bit out of Canmore, but I feel like it's close enough that if you are visiting Canmore, you could very easily come and shoot this lake at sunrise. It was probably about a 20-30 minute drive from Canmore. Not too difficult. But thank you for joining me on this little exploration today. Wasn't necessarily the best conditions for images, but like I said, a lot of potential, and I'll definitely be back. As always, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. But in the meantime, be sure to download a Canadian Rockies photography location guide using the QR code on screen or the link in the description below, and go on, watch another video.